We're waiting on, so I always love to talk about this. There are those that come early and there are those that come late. But being a former Marine, I'm not 10 minutes early, I'm 10 minutes late. So I will give some people a little bit more room, but I think we'll at least start the conversation and then we'll go from there. And I'll do the introductions, and also, most of you know, bathrooms back left-hand corner. If you need anything else, I'd like to introduce also my friend Vanessa. She's hiding, you can tell. She has recently started her micro bakery, which you have in front of you, and she has 3 separate plates that I'll let her describe. It's all sourdough, it's all artisanal, and she is more obsessive with me about trying to make sure it's fresh. She baked these, I think it's starting at 5 this morning, so I'll let Vanessa go from here.
Hi everyone. Thanks everybody for being here and for listening about my bread. So the bread that's on your table for you to taste, there's 3 different flavors on there, just real quick. The one closest to the door is Gouda, the one closest to Jean is Parmesan herb, and the one in the middle is the traditional. And just my little story real quick. You know, I was an accounting and healthcare professional, and I was just done and took a sabbatical, trying to find what I would do as I grew up, and I found my grandma's recipes. And so here I am, and I'm not good at talking to people, but I do want to say it's truly a labor of love, and you are never going to work a day in your life if you love what you're doing. I'm now doing it. That's true. Just real quickly, there's some breads up there.
If you want loaves.
If you want those. Nope, this isn't the sales pitch or anything.
I will sell shamelessly. I will make it organic to order. Flour is really a lot more expensive, so it's just a little more money. So, but if you want that, that's what we're asking is for pre-orders. I have 4 or 5 here from Wednesday to Sunday each day. If you want something specific or something with specific, please let us know. And I'm just working through Jean and Great Grapes. So thanks so much, and hope you like the bread. I know the wine's going to be amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vanessa. By the way, I take no profit. This is all from my friend. So I am blessed to have, I can't even think how many years to mine.
Well, I started in 2009, so you were like one of my dishes.
So I had hair and it was dark. That's always my shtick. Thomas started to follow me. I can start to see the gray coming through. Thomas has lived in Chapel Hill, but he lives back in France. He only comes in for a couple times a year. Probably as you try these wines, and I'm not trying to boast, Zach and I, all of us go through a lot of wine. And we go, yeah, is it worth the money? Is it crap? Today you should have been here, a lot of crap. But Thomas always finds, right, Zach? He always finds high quality wines that I personally think are of tremendous value. And you know, you'll have to make that decision yourself. But as you go through the wines, they're artisanal. They are, I think most of them.
All.
Yeah. So you're dealing with not some mass-produced house. You're dealing with those of us in this room. But I'll let Thomas speak for himself. The first wine I'm going to pour for you is going to be the Sancerre. And as we go through, there's only one thing I'm going to change one up. We're going to move the Bordeaux to the second to last, but after that, the sequence is going to be the same. But I'll give open after that to introduce Greg. No one asked me to. I'm sorry.
No.
Every now and then I get going and I forget.
Hey, it's certainly less about me and more about the man himself, but we're grateful for everybody being here today. Thanks for coming and spending a little school night with us to do a little deep dive on our portfolio. And I'll let Thomas take it away with kind of everything we do and what we are.
Voilà. So, I'm French. You probably noticed. I'm trying to speak properly with my accent. So, yeah, after a few drinks, you get to understand. So I was born. I'm not going to give you my always close to the Loire Valley. I grew grew up on the coast, you know, next to the estuary of the Loire. And well, so I entered into the wine world. It was in 2003. I worked for a winery for 6 years, a small winery. I was in logistics before, and I decided to follow my passion. I was like a younger professional at this time, and I was like taken by the hand by a wonderful man called Authentiqe Vin, who was my mentor, like a wonderful farmer who taught me everything I know about wine. I was able to participate in the transition of the estate to organic farming. So I was able to witness what actually farming organically would provide into the quality of the wine. And that's what shaped my philosophy. That's why all the wines that we're bringing are made like either certified organic for probably 80% of our wines, or at least farm organically. And we go to the winery frequently, we select the wine by meeting the farmer, and we know where to look when we are walking in the vine. I don't pick a wine without walking in the vines for hours with the winemaker to check what's going on.
Also, breaking bread is important to
Yeah,
us as well.
I mean,
So, of course, he's French, right? Having a meal is incredibly important, but you learn a lot about people, their character, their authenticity, which is a big part of our company name and what we believe in, by sharing a meal with them. So a lot of what we like to do. We force ourselves, yes. It's really an arm behind back, like prison type situation.
It's an obligation.
It is certainly an obligation.
And yeah, in 2006, I met a girl in Chapel Hill when I was doing a business trip for the winery I was working at, and she's my wife.
He likes to say that she imported him.
Yes. So 15 years of marriage, we have 5 children. It's like a big family, and that's probably why we live in France now. So I moved in the US in 2009, basically to chase her. No money or nothing, and I basically started my business from scratch through the connection I had with farmers. Decided to put together a selection, and I was like, let's give it a chance. I just presented it to several friends and a distributor that I'm still working with, like trusted me from day one, without knowing that I was even capable of bringing them a container of wine, and I did. And that's 15 years ago, and we grew the portfolio like without rushing anything. We really took time. You know, it took us time to get some really flagship appellation, for example, Champagne. It took me time to find the one, some other region. So it was just a matter of finding the right person. Not only finding high quality wine. We are of course extremely demanding in the wine we're bringing. We have a certain profile of wine that you'll notice. Being from the Loire, I usually favor low alcohol, high acidity, like fruit-driven wine. I don't like to taste oak in my wine. I think, and a lot of farmer use oak. I mean, it's a tradition in France. But when we taste oak over fruit, they messed up something, and the winemaker hated that. You want the oak to be in the back, like to all the wine, not hide the wine. And that's what I favor. Wine is made from fruit. And organic farmers are proud of their fruit, and they want to show it to you. So that's why, you know, most of our wines are stainless steel or have a very low impact of oak. We're also working with I'm not into natural wine, like this kind of absolutely no sulfite. You know, it has to be we work with natural wine. You know, in our impression, natural wine is wine that are made in the vineyard by farmer without additive of anything, which means they harvest. All of our farmers harvest by hand, don't use any sulfite all the way until the bottling. They use native yeast. They care for their fruit, low yielding. They use no pump that will crush the grape from the vine to the vat. So basically, they don't need to add anything.
A number of our wineries are actually what we refer to as gravity fed, meaning that as they're designed, they're laid into a hillside, so that the whole process of vinification through reception to fermentation to bottling can actually happen under the force of gravity. without any heavy pumps or augers. We have a few of our wineries that are completely gravity fed.
And it's not a rule to make wine. You can like just decide this wine no sulfite. Sulfite is not the enemy. It's the excess of sulfite that can be a problem, but you know, it's we're not going to go that direction. You see what I mean? I mean, for us, it's like we're living in wine made in the vineyard, naturally, like true farmer, like delivering this like philosophy that we have, and we name our company that way, authentic. Authenticity, it describes everything we want to provide. So we are starting with a wine from the Loire Valley, from Sancerre. So Sancerre is, we call it the Centre Loire. It's this, voilà, Centre Loire right here. It's this section of the Loire, a little further away from the main Loire land, you know, that is following the river. It's a region that is like geographically closer to Burgundy than it is from the Loire. You are like an hour from Chablis, the northernmost region of Burgundy. And that's something to keep in mind when you know a bit the kind of soil in Sancerre and the grape they use. We know Sancerre is dominated by Sauvignon Blanc, and that's, we know Sancerre is the white, but they also have a production of Pinot Noir. Very interesting production of Pinot Noir for rosé and red. Historically, Pinot Noir was dominant because Sancerre was part of the Duchy of Burgundy centuries ago. So it was so after the phylloxera, you know this bug that kind of redesign the map of viticulture in France. They changed a lot of grapes in certain region and they switched Pinot Noir to Sauvignon Blanc at this late 1800s. So Sancerre is made of multiple terroirs. You have three main terroirs that we can describe. Limestone is the dominant with different kind of limestone. You have some Chimay region, and I speak again of the proximity with Burgundy. You have Chimay region also in Burgundy, in Chablis. Chablis is the Chimay region limestone. This limestone with oyster shell and fossil is virgula oysters, tiny oysters that makes the terroir of Chablis. So you have the Chimay region in a small portion in Sancerre. You have also another terroir called Cayotte, which is like a terroir made of crumble like limestone, like pieces. Like you have Portlandian limestone, like a more like a compact kind of limestone, and another terroir called Silex, which is like Chimay region, one of the smaller portion of the terroir of Sancerre, and it's usually like highlighted on the label, or at least like expressed as a designation on the label and by the farmer. But most of the terroir in Sancerre is made of sugar. This producer is actually a new producer that we just picked up. We have four different kinds of Sancerre, different expression of Sancerre. And actually, by chance, two in the same village, the same village of Vertigny, which is on the ridge of Sancerre, on the rich limestone terroir, with a big proportion of Cayotte. We are speaking of like that we work with people with saying like with generation, you know, with true farmers, you know, and this family has been making wine for 18. I'm sure sometimes you wonder, or like an importer is choosing his wines. You know, there's actually like many ways, but usually the best way is by connection with the friends winemaker. So that's how it happens with this wine. I have a good friend called Eric Bordelais, who is a cider maker in the south of Normandy, and he's one of the icon of viticulture and agriculture in France. And he has like a connection with all the greatest winemakers in France. And it's fairly difficult to have some access to certain winery. Even if you are like a wine professional, you have to to be introduced sometime, you know. And that's what happened with Elian Darros. Elian Darros and Sandrine Faroujas, his wife, are like icon of like the viticulture in France. People who are like leading the way in organic and natural wine. We went with Eric on a trip. And I was so excited to meet wonderful people, like people who are like really like caring, you know, like very like beautiful soul,
Charismatic too.
yeah. And so I went there and I was blown away by the wine. It was like, you know, it's wine that what I seek in wine is not only like the quality of the wine, you know, the complexity of the fruit, the textbook like characteristic that we search in wine. I think we seek for emotion and energy. You know, the emotion that you can't reproduce or find again in another like tasting, and that's what we seek when we discover wine. And the energy, I believe in energy. You know, when you work organically and biodynamically, you seek for all these energies that come from the ground to the top, and you want the harmony of this energy. And I believe that it displays to the wine, and that's what gives you this singular emotion that you find in wine that we purchase. So we usually say, you know, we don't claim to have the best wine, but we know they are made the best way, and they are providing a singular emotion. And this is the best example. It's a wine that is made with 4 hands, you know, with Sandrine and Elian. That's where you find all these hands in the front table.
If I could have taken any winemaker from the September 22 visit and put them in my pocket and bring them home, it would have been Elian's wife, Sandrine. I don't think my wife would be terribly keen on it. Although I also think I said to you, I can't let my wife meet Sandrine or I will lose her to French vineyards for the rest of my life. She will volunteer to go be Sandrine's assistant and follow her around the winery. Bubbly personality, energy for days, extraordinarily committed to what they do. A hell of a lot of fun to follow around vineyards for an afternoon. And we had this with lunch, I believe.
Yeah. And so they decided to make this wine together, and they say, why bother making bottles? We're going to just do magnums of it, because when you're more than 2 people, or maybe more than 1, you need a magnum.
So literally only bottled in magnums. It is not available in 750 milliliters. And yeah, we asked them that, and we said, so why mags only? And Sandrine kind of got a big shitty grin on her face. And she said, because that's about right for 2 people. and we could definitely get behind that idea.
And they wanted the simplicity behind this. That's why, you know, magnums inspire like party reunions, like friendship, you know.
And Histoire de Boire loosely translates to mean drinking stories. So another name for a wine quite appropriate for its magnum-only size is naming it drinking stories. So what you have as you look at it in the glass is almost more like a dark rosé than a red wine, right? So you have good maceration on the wine to give it a nice dark color, but it is quite literally a wine that I like. I kind of have all my catchphrases and things. I refer to wine like this as built for speed. Because this is, and what we've elected to do, which is one of my favorite things, and I think the way that if taking any of this home, I would advise you do it for the remainder of its days in the bottle, is serve it with a nice chill on it. That's something that I definitely recommend more folks do with their red wines, particularly in these really hot months. If you talk to a European, they are of the mind that we drink our white wine entirely too cold. Because deep chill, really cold temperatures suppress aromatics. So you are losing out on a lot of the nose by having that white wine be super icebox cold. So by all means get your white that cold, but pull it out, let it sit on the table for a couple of minutes before you really start tucking into it, and you'll get so much more out of it aromatically. but what a little chill on red wine can do can soften tannin and sort of blunt some of the edges and make it just this far more enjoyable, just sort of easy drinking, easy sipping style. You can do a little bit harder chill than cellar temperature here. You can get this one down to about 45, 50 degrees. You can pop it in the fridge for maybe like an hour and let it take a good solid chill. Take it around your backyard barbecue and splash glasses with it. It's about as much fun as you can have. You want to let them know a little bit about the breakdown and the grapes?
Thanks, man.
Sure.
So we are like the Marmandais, the Côte du Marmandais, so the sign of Marmandais is named after the city of Marmande, like you say, the entry door to the southwest. So we are basically like few miles away from the border of the Bordelais. So we're leaving what we call the Sauternais, the Sauterne area, and we enter into the southwest. So
30 kilometers south of Graves, I think, or something like that.
So this region have grown in the shadow of Bordeaux. For a long time, Bordeaux was all like history of Bordeaux. They were making lighter red, so they would use some neighbor like appellation of the southwest, like Cahors with our Malbec, or our Marmandais with their local grape called Abourou, to bring color into their fruit. They would be okay like bringing like bulk wine from this region to bring color. And Marmande like grew in the shadow of Bordeaux, bunch of like very limited vigneron producer, a lot of large co-op, and now we're seeing like more and more like independent farmer with taking the way. So they have like through this history they have a lot of they use a lot of Bordeaux varietal, Merlot, Cabernet Sauvignon, a lot of Cabernet Franc. Cabernet Franc originate from the southwest, so Cabernet Franc is a classic in the blend of the southwest, and they also have a local grape called Abourou. It's difficult to pronounce, but
think of it like I bore you, like I'm boring you, but with an A. I'll bore you. I'll bore you.
So Abourou means late ripening, and it's a grape that can be a rustic when you don't know how to master it. So that's why in the region you usually have like rustic wine, like colorful and things like that. The Lévian has been able to master the grape, like doing all cluster. I'm not speaking of like carbon maceration, all cluster fermentation, but it's like they do like an infusion in order to extract just the fruit of Abourou and this nice spice of Abourou instead of like macerating or crushing to heavy the grape. So you have a blend of a majority of Merlot, 70% Merlot, which gives you this blonde and chubby character. Merlot is very generous when it's well made. And Abourou will give to the wine the signature of the southwest, and this beautiful region of Marmande. So the objective is to make this like fruit-driven wine, like glou-glou we say in France, extremely dangerous. That's why I'm glad they put it in Magnum, because it goes too fast. It's actually low alcohol.
It's only about 12% alcohol. So the grapes are harvested a little bit sooner in the season. They want to preserve a little bit of that freshness and acidity. They want it to be bright and vibrant and fresh. This is not a wine that's about tannins or grip or power. This is a wine that's fun, food friendly, food versatile. I take one to about every backyard barbecue I'm invited to, and it's always a hit because it's good with barbecue, steaks, ribs, chops, burgers, chicken wings, really anything coming off the grill, anything coming out of the smoker or the Traeger, just really, really food versatile style of chillable red wine for the summer.
And don't be surprised by the deposit. It's totally normal. Natural wine producer, they don't like heavily clarify their wine. It's just like simple color deposit. There's anthocyane in the wine as color component that usually by chemical component or by heavy clarification they remove this kind of but they let the wine be what the wine is.
And if you are concerned about a wine throwing sediment and you've been storing it on its side, simply stand it up for a couple of days before you're going to enjoy it, and that sediment will slowly precipitate out to the bottom of the bottle, and then just be wary of that last couple of ounces. You know, maybe 1.5, 2 ounces. Just that last little pour is going to have some of those tartaric crystals and sediment in it. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. If you get a little taste of it, it's not going to make you sick. It's not hard solidified sulfites. It's nothing like that. It might make it a little gritty for that last 1.5 ounces, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. And we would, quite frankly, prefer that our winemakers not fine or filter, because in the name of giving you a beautiful crystal clear glass of wine, they are taking some of the flavor compounds out. It is unavoidable that fining and filtration takes some of the good out of the wine. And I would, quite frankly, just lose that last ounce and have a really delicious glass of wine and have them remove any of that energy that they worked so hard in the vine to actually put in the wine.